Welcome to Blooming Wildwood Homestead. Today we are going to be working on a few different projects, and I thought I would bring you along for some of the fun. The first thing I want to show you is a project that I'm working on in the kitchen, and we're actually going to need to run to the store and grab a couple of things so that we can kind of get everything ready to go today. So today we're going to be working on this area right here, and basically what I had going on here was a big huge microwave, and you can see the space that the microwave was taking up, and it's been in there since I moved into this house actually, and it's never worked the whole time. So I decided to go ahead and get rid of that microwave, and we're gonna go ahead and fill in some of the holes, paint it up, and put up a cast iron, put up a rack so I can hang my cast iron pots and pans in that particular space. I think that'll make better use of the space, and it just really opens up the area around my stove. And then up in the top, we're gonna figure out some type of lighting situation, and I think I found some that I really like at Home Depot. So we're gonna go see if we can find that. They only have maybe 3 in stock, and that's about what I want for the kitchen area. So I wanna go ahead and pick those up before they are gone. And then the other thing I need to figure out is if I'm going to paint that surface or just leave that the wood. I'm not really sure on that yet. So we're gonna go pick up the lights and then get this area prepped and painted so I can finish this up. All right, well, I'm not the cleanest when it comes to doing, well, it's not really construction projects, but I'm not the cleanest when it comes to projects involving painting or fixing things up. So I've covered the stove with some plastic bags just to keep it clean. Don't worry, the stove's not on, nothing is hot, it's not going to melt on there. Everything is nice and cool, so I think that'll be all right. And we're gonna go ahead and try and fill in the holes and kind of get everything good to go there. Do you ever get super annoyed with yourself because you know better and then you make silly mistakes and you're just so irritated? So I told you we already went to town and I picked up the lights that I wanted for the top of the cabinet, and I didn't check to make sure that I had everything that I needed to finish my project. I knew I had some of this available, and I didn't think it was that old. And so I thought, oh yeah, I already have what I need. It feels like it's got plenty in it. I didn't even open it up. And then once I open it up, it's no good. So this stuff goes on kind of a pinky purpley color, and when it's dry, it turns white. And as you can see, that's completely white. So I had to run back to town, and that was not a good use of time or gas, but hopefully this new container will be, oh yeah, much better. That's what we're looking for. Now I can actually get something done. So super annoyed with myself for not checking that out before I went to the store earlier. We're gonna see if we can fill in some of the gaps here just a little bit, because the covers are not going to cover up that hole if I don't fill in the gaps just a bit. So we're gonna see what we can do there, and then of course fill in the holes. What I do like, I've used this stuff before, and what I do like about it is that it will dry nicely and you can just paint right over the top of it, which is very handy. I don't have to do anything really special. That top part is about as good as that's gonna get for now. And then we'll grab the holes here, see what we can do there. Remember, I'm not a painter or a construction person by trade, so it might not be a perfect job, but we're gonna do the best that we can here with what we've got, which is limited skill ability. That is one thing about living on a homestead. You do learn how to do some things that you never thought you would do before. I think we're gonna leave it at that, and then after it dries, I will put another coat on over the top just to kind of smooth it out. The holes were pretty deep, so I want to make sure that that's plugged really well. All right, so we're gonna let that dry, and then I will come back and put on a second coat, get that drying, and eventually we'll get to the painting. I think I have a recipe in here that was my grandma's that I can use for some leftover turkey. So I'm gonna get that down. I love cookbooks, but there is something special about having recipes just written down. I love being able to look through here and find recipes that have my grandma's handwriting, and there are some in here that have my mom's handwriting. And of course, you know, there are pre-printed recipes or things that have been cut from magazines, but it is neat to be able to pull something out and see that handwriting and know that that was something that she was making. So I think I kind of found what I was looking for. I thought there was a recipe in here that had something for leftover turkey and rice, but I didn't quite find that, but I found something else that I think I can modify. And so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It does have rice and it calls for chicken. It's baked in the oven, which is what I remember. So I think we'll be able to modify that and turn it into something I can use. I think I might have some broccoli out in the greenhouse. So we're gonna go take a look and see if we can maybe modify this recipe a little bit, because I want to use my leftover turkey and add a little bit of vegetable to it, just to make it kind of a one dish casserole type of meal. And I think we can use up what's out there. So let's go take a look. Yeah, sandals in the winter, not really smart. Let's see what we have in the broccoli department. Oh, I've got a couple of nice things going on here. So we've got that head. I could definitely chop up nicely. This one I can. That's a nice one we'll probably save. And then I've got some little sprouts on the side that are doing well, so that's great. And this guy also has some little ones that are going to come on, so we'll have more little side shoots. Those are great for salads or adding to dishes. That's not a ton, but that'll be a nice amount to add to our dish. Well, here we are, and I still do not think that this is completely dry, but it's mostly white. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on a second coat because I don't need a lot, just a little bit to kind of smooth everything over. And I really need to use the stove to make tonight's dinner, so I need to get this finished up so I can take the plastic off the stove and use that to do a little cooking. And then unfortunately, I'm gonna have to finish this up tomorrow because this is definitely not going to be dry enough to paint tonight. So one of those projects that just kind of keeps going, and everything always takes longer than I think it's going to. So we'll see how it goes. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about this. We're gonna let this dry overnight and then tomorrow I will get it painted. Well, I found that recipe and now I'm pretty much not really using it. So we're gonna see how this goes. I went ahead and greased the pan with butter because it did say to grease the pan, and then I thought, why not throw in a little bit of butter, because butter makes everything better. And then I'm adding a cup of rice, uncooked. We're going to, the recipe called for Lipton dry soup mix, which I do not have. So we're going to add about half of a chopped onion. This is how much turkey I had left over, so I'm gonna add that. This was the broccoli I harvested, so I'm gonna add that. We will add a can of cream of mushroom soup, because why not? The original recipe did not call for any liquid other than saying that you mix the soup with some milk and then pour it over and then add liquid from canned mushrooms, which I'm not going to use. So it normally takes 1 3/4 cups for the rice. So I think I'm gonna do 2 cups of liquid because I've got some other items in there, which might mean I need less, but worst case scenario, I guess it's a little bit runny. The Lipton soup mix would have had kind of some beef broth in there, so I'm gonna add a little bit of, this is really an experiment. I have this beef broth that I bought powdered from Azure. So we're gonna do, I don't know how much it takes to make broth the way you're supposed to. So I'm gonna add like, I don't know, 1.5 teaspoons and hope that's not too much. We're gonna add a couple clicks of salt. I don't usually do much, just a little. We'll add some pepper. And I'm gonna add a few dried parsley flakes because, again, why not? I think we're just gonna mix this up. I wanna try to evenly distribute some of the items here. I may have added too much liquid. It's already looking a little questionable. This is what experiments are made of. And of course, the recipe we're going off of doesn't say if we should cover or not cover, but I'm voting for cover based off of the fact that I would cover rice when I'm cooking it, and most casseroles and things of that nature are covered. So we are going to give that a go and then monitor it. If I need to uncover it later, I can do that. So I'm gonna put it in for at 350 for like 1.5 hours and see how we do. So this is actually after 1 hour. I went ahead and checked it and it looks like it's good to go. So it didn't take as long as I thought. All right, I think it looks delicious. You could probably top it with a little bit of Parmesan cheese if you had some, but let's see how it tastes. That'll be the real trick. Yeah, the flavor's good and the consistency's good. The rice is cooked. I actually don't think it turned out half bad considering I just kind of made that up. So I would definitely do it the same way again. Well, we are back on day 2 of this project that I thought was just gonna take a little bit of time, and obviously took a bit longer than I was anticipating. So I've got my painting shirt on. We're going to prep the area now, and I think we're finally ready to get a couple coats of paint on that and finish up that little cubby area. But first, I've got to have some coffee, because every project is definitely fueled by coffee. Mixed up a bit of TSP, which I will use to go ahead and wipe down this wall. That way I can sufficiently clean and prep this space. We're gonna let that dry, and then I think we're finally ready for that first coat of paint. All right, well, I think we're about ready to get started painting, and today I'm using the Swiss Coffee Bear paint. I chose that color because I wanted something that was kind of a neutral, but a lot of the items that were in the house were very dark as far as like countertops, cabinets, things like that. And so I wanted something that was going to be light and reflective. It kind of looks like a white in some lights, but it has the warmth of almost a light brown color in different lightings. So it has warmth, but yet it's neutral and kind of bright and clean looking. So that's what we're gonna put in here, and I think we're almost there. We are on day 3 of this saga, so I am headed back to the store. The lights that I picked up are not working. I tried 2 different ones and neither one of them are working appropriately, so we're gonna see if we can find some different lights for under the cabinet and see if we can get this project completed today. I'll keep you updated. True confessions, I did not update you after I got out of the hardware store on my second trip, and I think it was mostly because I was so frustrated. The only option that they had for the lights that I wanted were basically more of the same. The ones that were battery operated were exactly the same brand and the same style. They were just a little bit longer, and so I opted not to do that, and I ordered some lights from somewhere else, and so I'm waiting for those under the cabinet lights to come in. But I want to go ahead and show you how the rest of the project came out. I'm really excited and happy with how things look. So my cast iron is in need of a little bit of TLC, so don't mind that. That is on the agenda. I found some of the cast iron that I had actually in a drawer, and I hadn't used it because you know how it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. But I'm really happy with how that came out. So my dad helped me hang up the racks in here, and the cast iron is able to go on hooks and hang in here. And so rather than taking up all of the space with a microwave, it's just way more usable. I'll be able to keep the stove top clear and get things hung up there. And then also, because I know what I have available, it's just nice to be able to have that up there. I hope you enjoyed coming along for this project. It's a little bit different than some of the things that we've done before, but still one of the things around the homestead that needs to be accomplished, and just something that I think will make my space more usable. I'd love to have you subscribe and be part of our community here at Blooming Wildwood Homestead. Until next time, bye everyone.